Hey everyone. So there's just been a lot of stuff that's been going on this week. First and foremost, on Friday, there was a guy who got drunk and decided to walk into traffic and got hit by 4 cars, and all of this happened in front of my house. It's been said or rumored that he had some mental problems and that he'd been fighting with a girlfriend and all this other stuff. And what's really sad is the guy was only 21. Well, I shouldn't say was. He is 21. According to a friend of mine who happens to be a friend of his, he's in the ICU ward over in Seattle and is expected to make it, but is really jacked up. Has penetration in his lung, broken bones throughout his legs. His face is really messed up. He said that he's more purple than white. So it's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, because October is mental health awareness, and we all go through times and situations where we get depressed or are upset, or our emotions are all over the place, and there's this really huge stigma associated with mental health. It started back, I would assume, in the early days of mental health and learning about different psychoses and things of that nature, but really, mental health issues have always been a huge problem and like a taboo subject for many people. And a lot of people go undiagnosed just because of the social stigma that is attached to mental health. And I understand the stigma and what have you of the mental health issue because of having to live with it and deal with it myself on a daily basis. When people hear that I'm depressed or that I'm bipolar or anything else like that, they automatically assume, oh my god, this guy's going to be a total mental case and freak out and kill everyone in this area. I have had those thoughts, yeah. I will admit that there have been those times where I've just flown off the hook, and it's taken me a while to bring myself back or what have you, but that's not always the case, you know. It's just, we have such a huge social stigma that if there's the slightest thing wrong with you at any given time, you're somehow less than, or you're made fun of, or any of the above. With a lot of times with mental health issues, though, people don't want to admit to themselves that they have a problem, and it's just like a drug addict, you know. If they don't admit that they have a problem, then they're not going to seek out help. And it doesn't matter who points it out. God himself could come and show and say, look, you're broken, you're damaged, you got some issues. Well, even then, people don't want to hear that about themselves. And I will admit, when I first found out that I had bipolar and that I was really depressed, and some of the other things that are going on that I've gone to mental health counseling for and what have you, I have to say that, yeah, I was afraid to talk to my friends and family about it because of the social stigma that was attached to it. Once I was able to finally speak about it and was going through counseling and talking to my counselor about some of the different issues that I had and the problems and just my day-to-day struggle, she was very sympathetic and understanding, and actually gave me tools to use that if I found myself in certain situations, how to diffuse that, or how to just kind of take control of my emotions, and if I had to just up and leave. And when I told her that I was doing my blog and that I did the YouTube videos about my day-to-day struggles or what have you, she was really impressed, because not many people avidly speak about it, and I think that's a lot of what's wrong in the world today, is that there are a lot of people who are suffering from some kind of mental illness or having mental problems, and that they just don't have the resources or the community backing in order to be able to better live. And so that's a lot of what I want to do and what I try to do with my blog and with the YouTube channel and just the different social media outlets that I use. My blog is really just an extension of what I'm feeling at the time. It's basically my diary. And for those of you who have been following the blog since the beginning, or are interested in the blog now, when I first started it, it was all about my weight loss and dealing with depression and everything else. And even though I'm not avidly working out or trying to lose weight now, that still remains like part of the goal of my life, is to try to get into a healthier weight, and just constantly working on me. So Hello Cupcake It's Me.com is really all about just me and the things that I do. And yeah, occasionally I put up a product review or two, because as the blog is gaining momentum and I'm getting more YouTube viewers, I'm having to do more product reviews, which I really don't mind, especially if they're products that I really like or have an interest in. So the next video that I do is actually going to be a product review, just because I want to start utilizing the YouTube channel for that as well. And it's not going to be an all the time thing, but I'm gonna put up at least 1 or 2 videos every now and then, because I know a lot of people who watch these videos aren't really looking to have products sold to them, but at the same time, I'm not selling anything. I'm just reviewing them and saying, hey, you know what, if you have a need for it, check this out, that type of stuff. But I've always been somebody who's been a very strong communicator. Well, scratch that. I've never been somebody who's been a very strong communicator up until I was in the 11th grade, and all my life up to that point, I was always bullied and harassed and picked on and beat up on and all that other stuff. And I would never look anyone in the eye or even acknowledge them. I was always very quiet, shy, reserved. And it wasn't until I was in about the 11th grade that I had this epiphany and just thought, who the hell are you in my life to make me feel this way? And ever since then, I became more outspoken and more verbal and more assertive and aggressive. And I really don't know if that was part of like early onset mental health issues that were starting to take a hold, or if it was just like me coming into my own type thing. Regardless of what it was, I am the person I am today because of that epiphany, or that moment in history where it just like snapped in me and enough was enough. Yeah, so some people just don't have that ability to communicate and verbalize. And so that's what I hope to do with my blog and with the YouTube channel, is to be able to communicate for those people who don't have the voice or may have similar situations where they are just feeling taken advantage of, or any number of different things. In one of my videos, I talked about how people just don't have a voice a lot of times, and how others make them feel, and they just don't have the voice to speak up for themselves and stuff like that. It's fine with me. I can take it as well as I can give it out. Actually, I can dish it out better than most people, and I try not to, just because I know how hurtful words can be. But that doesn't change the fact that I can and I will tear somebody down if I feel I need to. But with mental health being such a taboo issue, it's really, really hard for people to get the help that they need. And a lot of government funding and even medical doesn't cover mental health, which I think is a huge disservice to everyone, because you need help from time to time, if not all the time. And I'm not talking about the help with paying bills or welfare or anything else like that. Your mental health affects your everyday health. It affects your day-to-day. It affects your family members, the people in the community, everything. The other day I was sitting in Safeway, not Subway, and there was a guy who was clearly he had clear mental issues, and he sat there and he spoke to himself, and he was really animated and twitchy, and for somebody who didn't know any better would have thought that he may have been on drugs. But being able to recognize mental health versus drug health is a little bit of a difference. They have a lot of the same characteristics, but you can genuinely tell if somebody is on drugs or if they are just mentally handicapped. He was mental and very much unmedicated. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if he knows about the resources here in the community that are available to him. But at the same time, the conversation that he was having with himself was becoming a little violent, and so I didn't want to try to approach him just to aggravate the situation more. And so I just kind of backed off. But it's people like that the rest of the community and society in general kind of push to the side, because they're damaged, they're not a productive member of society, they're scary, any other number of labels that you can attribute to somebody, which is really sad. But at the same time, it's who we are as a society. I think that it's wrong, but it's really hard for just one person to change the world. But the goal of my video today is to really just bring light to mental illness. If you are depressed, if you're suffering from anything, anxiety, You may feel like you're bipolar, and one of the symptoms of bipolar is unstable moods. Like, you could be watching a cartoon, everyone else in the room is laughing, and for whatever reason, you're crying. Or things just don't affect you the same way that it does everyone else. Everyone else in the room is crying because something is really sad, and you are stone-faced about it, or you just don't have that emotion, or you're overly aggressive even though you're trying not to be. I mean, any number of things. If you feel the slightest bit off in any way, go seek help. It's not a knock against you. If you need it, go and find it. Utilize it. If you're feeling suicidal, call the hotline. The suicide hotline is 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. You know, utilize it. If you're feeling depressed and down and wanting to hurt yourself, don't do something permanent because other people have pushed you there. You are your own valuable asset. You might not feel like you have any value in the world. You may feel like you're a loser or any of those other negative words that attack and hurt yourself with. Seek out the help. It's there. If you don't have medical insurance, it's fine. You will still be seen by somebody. And in many cases, there are state and county medical insurances that you can apply for and typically get at least for 6 months. I know in California, there were 2 different programs that I was on. One was MISP and the other one was MSP. Or, I'm sorry, MISP, and yeah, that was the other one. Just MISP is the only one I can think of right now. And what that stands for is medically indigent service providers or something like that. Anyways, each county and every state has its own medical for people who need it. Here in Washington, we have Apple Health, and basically what it is we have Apple Health and like Washington Health and another program, I can't remember that right now, but basically what it does is it gives you access to your medical needs. The only thing that it normally doesn't cover is dental, which I do not understand why any of the any of the medical programs, including Medicare, why they don't include dental. Dental is a huge part of your health. You get an impacted wisdom tooth or anything like that, and it can cause you to die. I went through that about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, where I had a tooth on this side that decided that it didn't want to be in my mouth any longer, and I was in enormous, excruciating pain where I was just taking handfuls of medication and doing whatever I could just to get through the night and through the day. Now I think that Medicare is doing dental, but I'm not sure. It's something that I still need to look into, but it's one of those things that, you know, if you have an issue, go get it taken care of. There's nothing wrong. If you need the medical help, or you think you need the medical help, go. Every state, every county has some medical program for persons with low income to no income and low income. You can even be a business person and still go in and be seen without medical insurance. You may have to pay a little bit or, whatever else, but, it's worth it. Go take care of it. If you know somebody in your day-to-day life that is struggling with mental health issues, try to talk to them about it. Step outside of your box. Give them a call. Even if it's something as simple as a call. A lot of times when people are massively depressed, that's all they need. It's just a call. Check up on them. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? I know for me, when I go through my massive depressive times, that's all I want is somebody to just give me a call and say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Oh, you know what? I'm going to the store. Would you like to come with me? Or, offer to do a little something for them. And I promise you, it's going to mean the world to them, even if they don't say anything. But that's my rant for this video. So, I'm going to include the suicide hotline again, and hopefully, it helps someone. And I open this up to my viewers and my readers. If you need someone to talk to who's non-judgmental or anything, shoot me an email or send me something in the comments. My email is hellocupcakeitsme@gmail.com. Feel free to shoot me an email or just talk to me. I'll be a listening ear for you. I want to be here because that's who I am. I like to help people. So I hope that this video is helpful to you. And, if you know somebody, please go ahead and forward this video to them. Maybe it'll help them. But just know that if you are feeling depressed, or you think you might be bipolar, or you have any other possible mental issues, you're not broken. So, have a good day.
I know it's hard to do it, stress and the pressure brewing, we all going through it. I know it's dark now, your soul is in a bind. Give it a little time, believe me, the sun will shine. You see, you ain't a loser, your life isn't worthless. You here for a reason, believe it, you got a purpose. Look, I know it ain't easy. Life ain't fair, I've been there, yo, believe me. But one thing I've learned in my life to be true is that we gain experience from the pain we go through. And the experience we learn turns out to be wisdom. So when the youth need guidance, we got something to give them. And what can be more important and precious than having taught a lost soul a life lesson while you leave an impression? See, whether you believe in God or not isn't the issue. The issue lies in the hearts of all those who miss you.